Hello, all of my sweepstakes friends and family. Welcome to episode number 20 of Official Rules, a sweepstakes podcast. I am your host, Jay Victor, and very happy to be back on the microphone after, and I knew it would happen, missing my first episode last week due to the effects of some kind of flu bug that dragged on. Good news, while my voice was terrible and couldn't really talk, I did get back into another hobby of mine, which is genealogy. And I've been working on my family tree through Ancestry or Family Tree Maker for the past approximately 20 years. And I will say that in probably the past 2 weeks, I've made more progress with finding stuff, finding pictures, getting information in the last 2 weeks than I have in probably the last 10 years. So that was super fun, very exciting. I got to meet with one of my mom's cousins whose mother was my grandmother's oldest sibling, the only one to kind of grow up in the U.S. instead of overseas in Poland. And because of that, being the oldest and staying here for the majority of her life, everybody in Poland would send her pictures, and she never threw anything away. So when I met up with my mom's cousin, she took me through this absolute treasure trove of pictures, and it was a great day. So happy to share that. One good thing came from being out. I did wait until after I was feeling much better to go see her. The bad news is your friend and mine, the contest queen, Carolyn Willman, as it so happens, was visiting the great state of Connecticut. And we were supposed to get together and hopefully put together this wonderful combination show podcast that I was really excited to do. But 2 days before we were supposed to meet, and as Carolyn was making her way down, I think it was like a Wednesday, felt a little tickle in my throat, downed a whole bunch of medicine and elderberry extract because I don't really get sick too often. It's maybe once every couple of years. So when I feel the signs, I try to cut it off at the pass as quick as possible. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So obviously, not wanting to infect our glorious contest queen, I had to skip out on our meeting, which really stunk because I thought we can get together, do a video to post to her YouTube page, my podcast page, and I thought it would have been awesome to get together. So we'll have to save that for next time. I will say that Carolyn was super nice and gracious enough to send me a care package with some Canadian goodies, candies, chocolates, chips, you name it, stuff that I've never even seen in the U.S. that not only was I grateful for, my son certainly was because he's a big snacker. So I raise a glass to you, contest queen, Ms. Carolyn Willman. Thank you so much for the box of goodies, and I'm so terribly sorry we could not get together. But we're going to do it one day. We're going to have a combo show, at least one episode, and we're going to make something happen. And it'll be fun to discuss podcasts and sweepstakes and other folks' points of view. So that's what I was up to for the past week, and I'm very happy to be back and feeling well and speaking well, as far as I think. And it's great to be back on the microphone. So before we get back into our sweepstakes, I was going over some of our previous shows, and I appreciate the emails, the compliments, but it seems like the last few have just been, oh, let's talk about TCL, let's do a top 5 and get it over with. So I want to talk more about actual sweepstakes and this hobby and what's going on or what we're doing or what we plan to do. So before we get into any kind of top 5 list or going over the results of TCL and Toyota's football sweepstakes, as well as the thankful end of my fantasy football career for this year, which we'll get into shortly, what is a New Year's resolution that you have coming up that maybe has to do with sweepstakes? Because I will tell you that I've actually already started on mine. So, and it sounds kind of backwards, but I'm going to try to stop entering maybe so many sweepstakes when I look at the prize, when I look at what kind of entries are necessary, how long this sweepstakes would last. I'm going to be passing on some because there's so many coolers you could stand, so many oven mitts you can have. And I get it. You can re-gift these things and give them away. But when I started thinking about it, and I've been lucky enough to win a lot of stuff from sweepstakes over the past couple of years, and I get it. There's going to be people that just enter sweepstakes one after another. So this really is a call to action. But personally, I would like to have maybe someone else who doesn't win as often as I do, or hasn't won anything at all and just got into the hobby. I'd rather give them a chance for some of these prizes. And I forget what the actual sweepstakes was last week, but I clicked on the link and I kind of started filling out the form, and then I took another look at it and I said, you know what, I'm probably not going to end up doing this. So I stopped what I was doing, reread the rules, read the prizes. I said, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out. It was a daily entry, and I figured, you know what, give someone else a shot at winning this. I want to do a concentration on not only prizes that are worth it to me, maybe some prizes that don't have as long of an entry period. So looking back at some of the sweepstakes I've been doing, there have been some beer companies this year that have run a sweepstakes for maybe a $500 gift card, but the sweep started in like March. It's still going. It ends in December. And I get it. $500 is $500, but I'm going to keep a closer eye out on maybe the, what shall we call this? The, the worth it ratio. How worth it is it to enter daily every single day for a year or 6 months or 9 months for a prize that has a value of what, $100, $200, $500? I get it. Like I said, a lot of you folks out there will enter regardless, and listening to me talk about this, hey, more chances for me to win. Well, I wish you the best of luck either way. But I'll keep a better eye out on the sweepstakes that I'm entering, and maybe cut some of the time out of my day from entering so many sweepstakes, just to keep it a little simpler, a little cleaner. I love winning, but like I said, I think I have enough coolers, enough oven mitts, enough golf towels, enough sports towels, probably to last me a lifetime. So it's time for someone else to get a chance and get some wins under their belt. So we'll see what we come up with there. Moving right along, and something that I've wanted to talk about since last week our TCL Season of More giveaway. I'll be honest, it hasn't gone well. So going back to entry weeks 13 and 14, since there was no podcast last week, just a quick overview for the December 5th game. Between the Packers and the Lions, we needed 5 or more takeaways by one team. A takeaway would be a fumble recovery or an interception. 5 by one team, either the Packers or the Lions, did not happen, so we missed out on 13 98-inch TVs. And also for entry week 14, the Rams versus the 49ers, 600 yards or more. Total offense by one team. Total offense will be passing yards plus rushing yards minus sack yards. I'll save you the disappointment. There was not even a touchdown scored in this game. It was all field goals, and it was very low scoring for what should have been a very high scoring game. So another 13 98-inch TVs that went unawarded. So this week, tomorrow's game, December 19th versus, I should say, the Browns versus the Bengals. One team to score 50 or more points. Now, if you're a betting person and if there was a bet to make in Vegas, I would put the house on the Browns not scoring 50 points because they will also be using a new quarterback. So we're going to have to rest our hopes and dreams on Mr. Joe Burrow of the Bengals to lead the squad into scoring 50 or more points, be it by passing for a bunch of touchdowns, their running backs, I believe it's Chase Brown, rushing for a bunch of touchdowns, and another 13 98-inch TVs up for grabs with entry period number 15 on the NFL's calendar, week 16. We are in the depths of the fantasy playoffs, which I'll let you know I was bounced out of. So I had 2 leagues. Unfortunately, one league I did not even make the playoffs. It is a 12-person league. I was in 4th place and playing Mr. 3rd place, who subsequently knocked me out. And I got bounced by, 4 points? So disappointing to say the least. And then in my other league, I just lost this week by 3 points and out of the playoffs. And I'll tell you one thing. Me personally, I'm kind of glad the fantasy season was over with because both leagues were pretty disappointing. Just the picks that were made, Christian McCaffrey being out pretty much the whole year, coming back, playing 4 weeks, and then getting put on injured reserve. Better luck next year to me. So we'll see what happens, but I'm thankfully done with fantasy football. If I knew it was going to go this way, I wish I was at the bottom of the rankings so I could have continually entered into Progressive's sweepstakes that they have for teams that are in the bottom half of the league. So I was able to get a couple entries in, but I did so well to finish out the year that I ended up in the top half. So I was not able to enter the rest of the last 2 weeks. And that sweepstakes is ending this week. So, a tip for you folks for next year, always enter at least 1, maybe 2 fantasy football leagues. If you don't know how to play, enter a private one anyway with some of your sweeper friends because there's always some kind of sweepstakes that involves you having to have a fantasy football team. And as a matter of fact, if you were in a private Yahoo league, one person this year is going to be picked just to get $1 million for being involved in a private Yahoo Fantasy League. So good luck to those of you who did. My recommendation, 100%, is to get involved in some kind of private Yahoo Fantasy Football League for next year. So that's a little tip. It'll allow you to enter a couple more sweepstakes, and the prizes in those leagues are pretty substantial. So good luck to those of you who take my advice and enter Fantasy Football League. If nothing else, it's, especially when money's not involved, it's a lot of fun. Coming up to Toyota's Game Day giveaway. And if you remember, this is the one that has kind of an odd entry period. It's not necessarily every week or every certain time period. They just list a date. But coming up on December 21st, they have listed, which, funny enough, happens to be a Saturday game. I didn't know there was a Saturday game, and I hope they have it right. But nevertheless, on December 21st, a fourth down conversion in the second half could score you a $150 NFL Shop gift card. You have all the way until the day of that game to enter. I've been putting that address on the podcast notes. I will continue to do so along with TCLs. But if you have not already, feel free to enter that challenge. It's going to be the Texans versus the Chiefs. And there has to be a fourth down conversion in the second half. As we mentioned, that's typically when a fourth down conversion would happen if a team's behind and they need to go for it on fourth down and get a first down. That is the whole part of the conversion process. They'll be giving away a bunch of $150 NFL Shop gift cards. So good luck to everybody who chooses to be a part of that. And that'll do it for our football giveaways. And we're moving on to what I consider pretty good new top 5 here. And starting with number 5 will be none other than the HGTV. They're doing it again. Dream Home 2025 sweepstakes. So the grand prize winner will be able to get the keys to a house located in Bluffton, South Carolina, that will be featured on their HGTV Dream Home 2025 special. You'll get everything in there, including the furniture, the fixtures. You get a supply of paper towels, $100,000 in the form of a check, and a $59,000 credit for your choice of a Mercedes-Benz vehicle. The total retail value of this prize is almost $2.3 million. They do mention, because obviously that's a taxable event, and you're going to be on the hook for several $100,000 in taxes. The winner will have the option of receiving $750,000 cash in lieu of the home. Now, if you opt for the cash option, you will still receive a $100,000 cash prize and the vehicle credit. So you'll still be making out, close to $1 million, just under, probably in the $900,000 range. This one is going to run from December 17th through February 14th of next year. It's open to all of our friends in the 50 United States, including D.C., the territories, possessions, and commonwealths of the United States, and folks that are ages 21 or older. No surprise to us in the sweeping world that obviously this is a sweep that not only the hobbyists do, and by the way, it is a daily. Obviously, I think that goes without saying. But this is also a contest that gets a lot of people into sweeping. So the average person who does not do, sweepstakes as a hobby, they will throw their name in this hat daily. So there's going to be a lot of entries, and for sure someone's going to win. I certainly hope it's one of you listening to the podcast, but good luck to you if you're entering that one. That's number 5 on this week's top 5. Coming up next at number 4, and if I was a betting man, I would tell you that you're going to see these folks on here a lot. The T-Mobile Tuesdays, week number 446 sweepstakes, 30 grand prize winners in this week's T-Mobile sweepstakes will win a $1,000 gift card to Little Caesars. Think or say what you want about Little Caesars. If you have one around you, I love Little Caesars. As far as commercial pizza, it's up there on my tops. And if I didn't mention it before, Little Caesars as a company, the gentleman who founded it, the late Mike Ilitch, who was the owner of the Detroit Red Wings hockey club, and his family, the owners of the Little Caesars Arena, they made it really easy for military veterans to start their own franchise, and even gave them discounts for starting a franchise. So I would still like the food regardless of knowing that. But just by knowing that, Little Caesars as a company does a great job making those stores and those franchises available to our vets who served our country. So thank you to Little Caesars for that. 30 grand prize winners getting that $1,000 Little Caesars gift card, as well as an offset check for taxes in the amount of $428 that you could use to offset the taxes, or honestly use it for whatever you want. 30 winners, open to all of our friends who are legal residents of the 50 United States, DC, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, ages 18 and older. This is a one and done. This is their weekly sweepstakes, and this will run from the 17th through the 23rd of next week. So good luck to those of you who are entering on the AMOE site that I will post, as well as those of you who are T-Mobile subscribers. You can enter on your T-Mobile Tuesdays app. That's number 4 on this week's top 5. Coming in at number 3, and I'm going to butcher this name. I've been doing one of their sweepstakes for, it seems like, the better part of 6 months. That will be ending on the 2nd of January. But I'm going to spell it out and I'll give it a try. B as in Bravo, Romeo, Uniform, Igloo, Charlie, Hotel, Lima, Alpha, Delta, Delta, India, Charlie, Hotel, Bruchladic Holiday Watch Sweepstakes. They're basically giving away a $9,000 Rolex Submariner watch, which it's a Rolex. I mean, that's a great prize. Even if you're a lady, to gift it to a gentleman in your life, or guess what? Just throw it in a safe, wait 20 years and sell it if you need to, because those things only go up in value. It is a single entry one and done, open to all of our friends in the 50 United States, including DC, who are ages 18 and older. It'll be running from October 28th through January 1st. The grand prize is that Rolex Submariner watch, but also 5, I guess we'll call it, first place winners are going to get a G-Shock watch, which is a great sport watch. Still has a value of just under $200, but very easy one and done, and a very interesting prize. So that's why it makes number 3 on this week's top 5. A Rolex Submariner. Wow, what a great prize. Coming in at number 2, the 5-hour energy collab with IGN. They call this the Ultimate Stocking Stuffer Sweepstakes. They're going to have 5 grand prize winners. This is going to be open to legal residents of the 50 United States and DC, ages 18 and older. And it's a one and done, running from December 2nd through December 30th. So 5 people are going to win a OLED Steam Deck. So if you don't know what a Steam Deck is, if you know what a Nintendo Switch is, one of those handheld portable video games, a Steam Deck is optimized for the Steam platform, where you can download games. It's a 512 gigabyte Steam Deck, and it's basically like a handheld gaming PC, which I think is a tremendous prize. Even more tremendous, they're giving away 5 of them, along with 5-Hour Energy Gamer Shots Variety Pack, an Xbox Series 2 Elite controller or DualSense Edge controller, just a whole bunch of goodies. There's going to be a carrying case for the Steam Deck, protective bag, a backpack, Call of Duty Ghost Edition, keyboard cleaning goo that you could dump out to your keyboard. It's like a slime that you can pick back up, and there's also a Turtle Beach Stealth 500 wireless headset. I mean, this is the gamer's dream pack. Each of these prize packs is going to have a value of just over $1,000. Total value for all 5 grand prizes, $5,414. Brought to you by 5-Hour Energy and IGN Entertainment Inc. Just a fantastic prize, and they're giving away multiples of it. So I'll post that link in the comments of the podcast. But as a gamer myself, I saw this, and honestly, it almost made number 1. And speaking of number 1, and to wrap up this week's podcast, a company that I won a prize for my son, a skateboard, through Instagram. This is the Team Takis Game Day giveaway, and you could do it via purchase or by email. And I love that Takis does this. This is a daily entry. It's going to be open to the residents of the 50 United States, including DC, that are ages 13 and older. And it's going to run fairly long. It's going to be about a 2-month process, December 2nd through February 4th of next year. 125 winners are going to receive a Takis Game Day jersey valued at $40. 20 winners are going to get a Takis Game Day jacket, but their 1 grand prize winner is going to get a check in the amount of $25,000. So I'll post the link. I am doing the non-purchase entry, so you basically have to set up an email with a subject line as well as the body of the email containing your personal info, and just send it every day. And, good luck to those of you who enter it. 25 grand is obviously amazing prize, but then they got the backup prizes of, jerseys and jackets. And especially if you like Takis, go ahead and give this one a try. I'm sure it'll be a great prize to whoever gets a jacket or a jersey, but specifically that 25 grand in cash. Holy moly. That's going to do it for this week's top 5. You got everything from cash to Rolexes to Steam Decks to a dream home and car, all the way down to $1,000 to Little Caesars, which is one of the better prizes there. So we've covered our football. We've covered the lack of my fantasy progress. We've covered our brand new top 5. And as always, I appreciate you joining me. Do you have anything to add? Do you have a big win that you just got that you would like to announce or even tell me about, but keep your name anonymous? Do you have any suggestions for the podcast? Is there anything you want to talk about? Any of those things I can handle via email, sweepstakespodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's sweepstakespodcast@gmail.com. It's so nice to be back talking about this great hobby, and it's so nice to have you listening to me talk about this great hobby. Thank you once again for joining me. My name is Jay Victor. You have listened to Official Rules, a sweepstakes podcast, and I will see you next week unless something happens in Thursday Night Football and I need to make some kind of breakaway announcement. But check us out on TikTok while you can, and check us out on our Instagram page, Sweepstakes Podcast. Give us a search. Once again, thank you for joining me. This has been Official Rules, a sweepstakes podcast. Really, a sweepstakes podcast. I'm Jay Victor. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
This has been a Father and Son production.